Arsenal are back to winning ways after a 1-0 victory against Shakhtar at the Emirates Stadium. Let's just say the result doesn't tell you the entire story. With many concerns after the game, today we're going to break everything down, discuss the issues in the Arsenal midfield and the shining light of Gabriel Martinelli, find out what's happening with Thomas Partey, as well as discussing a new dilemma for Mikel Arteta. We'll also get a massive update on the likes of Riccardo, Calafiori and Bukayo Saka. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Baz14, welcome back to your boys channel and I hope you guys are doing sensational after what was a boring win, but a win's a win and we're going to break it down. So as per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let's start off with what we learned from Arsenal 1 Shakhtar 0. This was always going to be an intriguing game because what happened on Saturday? A defeat against Bournemouth, Arsenal's first of the season, leading to a lot of Arsenal fans reacting in a very negative manner, questioning Mikel Arteta and asking him if they could respond, defending his team by saying the context is that Arsenal have lost only one game in 6 months. I understand his point of view because he's trying to calm the fans down, but when you're fighting a team like Man City and the pressure is so high, there's a reason why Arsenal fans seem a little bit agitated. So come round to this game at the Emirates Stadium against Shakhtar in the Champions League. A certain Mykhailo Mudryk was in the crowd watching as a former Shakhtar player and a former Arsenal target. A left-wing target that Mikel Arteta wanted to sign for in a club record signing. It was only right that the left winger on the day, Gabriel Martinelli, put on a masterclass, winning the official UEFA Player of the Match award. It was a standout 8.5 rating, with a 0.91 expected assist, a whopping 5 key passes and 1 big chance created, 3 out of 3 dribbles and 1 time hitting the post. It was his involvement, of course, that led to the Arsenal goal, and it might have been an own goal, but it came through Martinelli's side. What I loved the most about his performance though was how much he was taking control, almost playing like a leader in the absence of Bukayo, Saka and Martin Odegaard. He was given opportunity to remind Arsenal fans just how important a player he still is. 2 star attackers missing, can you find a solution? Someone else to take the reins of the Arsenal attack and give the team tempo. Where on the left hand side, Gabriel Jesus was very hit and miss, Martinelli was the one causing the most chaos, looking more and more comfortable alongside Riccardo Calafiori. We are seeing a Martinelli resurgence, with important goals and assists against both Leicester and Southampton, another goal in the Champions League. After the game he says the win is the most important thing. We knew how tough they were to play against. We came here to win the game and we did it. Of course we wanted to score more goals, but we won the game and that's the most important thing. And the stats were definitely in Arsenal's favour with an XG of 2.13 to Shakhtar's 0.83. But winning on an own goal and missing a penalty, there was a lot of fans in attendance, including your boy, that weren't very happy after the game, calling the performance boring and lacklustre. In terms of the stats, Arsenal may have had more possession and final third entries, but looking to the field tilt is definitely interesting despite Arsenal having 57%. Towards second half, Shakhtar started to dominate, coming after Arsenal's worst performance of the season and our first defeat. You could definitely feel a sense of unrest around the Emirates Stadium. But I think all the frustration boils down to one specific player. Ethan Nwaneri sat on the Arsenal bench. In taking away Arsenal's 2 most creative players out of the side, one being Martin Odegaard, Arsenal's highest chance creator last season, the other being Bukayo Saka, the most informed creator in all of Europe this season, Arsenal were never going to be as threatening. So with Arsenal fans foreseeing a problem when they see a solution sat on the bench, a profile that could offer Arsenal the technical ability that we need right now, injecting into a flat midfield that looks very lacklustre. It's a theme over Mikel Arteta's entire Arsenal career that sometimes takes a bit too long to react. You go back to 2021-22 and Arsenal fighting for the Champions League. An experienced Alexandre Lacazette was clearly underperforming, yet it still took Mikel Arteta a long while to throw in Eddie Nketiah. You then go to 22-23 where Holding was starting over Kivior, and there seems to be a history of Mikel in terms of reacting. Key players sometimes go missing and injuries are a part of football, and while in the big games Arsenal have been getting their results, in games against inferior sides there's a lot more to be desired. But looking into the stats, I don't think Arsenal fans should be too worried. With Arsenal the best side in the league when it comes to expected goals for and against with 11 players. We have won 8 of the 9 games where we've kept 11 on the field. 3 games with red cards which 2 could have easily been. We would have definitely beaten Brighton with 11 men. We were seconds away from beating City with 10. As simple as it may sound, we are clearly missing 2 of our best attackers. That free-flowing attacking football that Arsenal fans so desperately crave. I get the demand though, and in terms of Mikel Arteta going forwards, I want to see a bit more bravery. With the technical profile of Ethan Nwaneri sat on the Arsenal bench, certain game states suit him very much and I want to see Mikel Arteta be braver. Let's talk about Kai Havertz though and his 7.5 rating. After another standout performance with 28 accurate passes, 5 key passes and 1 big chance created. He could have easily had an assist if it wasn't for Gabriel Jesus, and his link-up play was immaculate, with his heat map being very interesting, showing that he was playing in 2 different positions, from playing as a right number 8 at times then drifting in as a striker. The real problem that I have all came down to the penalty, with Havertz having scored in the last 7 Arsenal consecutive home games, equaling the record set by Robert van Persie. 1 goal away from making Arsenal history. Despite Arsenal getting given the chance on a spot kick, they turned to Leandro Trossard instead. Not only going on to miss the chance, but taking away the chance for Havertz to make the history. It just didn't make any sense, and in terms of Trossard's performance, it was a little bit confusing. A 6.6 rating playing as a false 9, with 4 shots off target and 1 successful dribble. Trossard is developing a weird knack as an Arsenal player, from sometimes providing the most clutch moments possible off the bench, to then starting and being very hit and miss. Having made the mistake against Bournemouth that got Saliba sent off, then missing a penalty in this game, it's not been an amazing week for him. But what about the Arsenal captain of the day, Gabriel Jesus? Well, he dropped a 7.2 rating playing as Arsenal's right winger, completing 40 accurate passes and 4 out of 4 dribble, and of course missing a big chance. Despite many Arsenal fans being critical after the game, I still believe he was one of our most threatening players. Playing in a right wing role that he's played before at Man City, trying to fill the void of one of our best players in Bukayo Saka. Going forward in this Arsenal team, this could be the long-term role for Gabriel Jesus. One of the most versatile attackers that we have in the squad. While able to play as a centre forward when you play him out wide, he can definitely use his ball carrying better. The issue though is the £265,000 a week contract, one of the highest earners in the Arsenal squad. Is it worth giving starting wages to a squad player who's most likely going to be sat on the bench? But one of the star performers on the night was Thomas Partey, dropping a 7.2 rating, with a whopping 89% of his passes completed and 1 key pass, winning 5 out of 8 ground duels. Yet another excellent performance from Uncle Thomas Partey, having grown more and more on this Arsenal side ever since the game against Atalanta away. Partey is a player all about rhythm, and the more that he's playing, the more that he's growing, finding his passing range once again and being one of our most progressive players. It's not a surprise that in the second half when he was dropped into right back, Arsenal lost a lot of their control. In the absence of Martin Odegaard and lacking a metronome, Thomas Partey has stepped up massively in terms of giving Arsenal tempo. The question then becomes about his future. Out of contract at the end of the season, a lot of doubt if he's going to be offered a new one. With the upturn in performances, a lot of fans are asking the question, is Uncle Thomas playing for a contract? But going into the game against Liverpool with Ben White taken off for half time, Mikel Arteta confirmed after the game it's because he had a yellow card. We've played a lot with 10 men in recent periods and I didn't want to take any chances. With no news about any injuries, White is definitely going to start against Liverpool, but is it going to be as a centre back? If that is the case, could we see Partey start as a right back? Moving over to the left hand side though, can we talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly? With Riccardo Calafiori taken off right towards the end of the game with a very worrying injury. On the bench you had 2 experienced players in Oleksandr Zinchenko and Jakub Kiwior, yet Mikel Arteta turned to a 17-year-old Miles Lewis-Skelly, with 15 touches and 13 out of 13 passes completed. For me, it's a sign of how much Mikel Arteta trusts the player. To have that experience available and yet still turn to a teenager. I have always talked about Lewis-Skelly being the perfect Mikel Arteta inverted fullback, a physical profile that suits Mikel Arteta's style of play, so gifted when it comes to holding players off and using his body, alongside a technical confidence to receive the ball and play going forwards. We are going to get an update on Riccardo Calafiori, but let's just say he's not available against Liverpool. Against an informed Mo Salah, will you start Kiwior Zinchenko, or will Mikel Arteta throw us a surprise and start Miles Lewis-Skelly? Trusting a 17-year-old in what could be Arsenal's biggest game so far of the season. Going into the game, let's just say Mikel Arteta has been bold, stating clearly, believe me, on Sunday we will be flying. In terms of the Champions League table, Arsenal are 9th with 7 points out of a possible 9. It all but guarantees a place in the top 24. Meaning a minimum place in the last 16 playoffs. It's very decent when you consider the fact that Arsenal have had some very difficult games, Atalanta away, PSG at home, and it's not going to get any easier in November, with a run of Newcastle, Inter and Chelsea away in back-to-back games. According to the tournament predictor, Arsenal have an 11% chance of winning the Champions League this season, with only Man City ranked higher. Moving on to the latest Arsenal news. In the wake of the win against Shakhtar, a lot of focus after the game fell towards Riccardo Calafiori, taken off after a very worrying injury. The photos themselves show an injury towards the knee. Mikel Arteta saying Ricky felt something. He could not continue playing, so that's a bit worrying. Now, Calafiori has a history of knee injuries, having had a major one at the age of 16, that at the time was seen as career-threatening. Having landed awkwardly, the images are definitely not positive, looking more like an MCL injury than an ACL injury. The fact that he played on after may be seen as a positive sign, able to walk off the pitch and not stretch it. According to Fabrizio Romano, the Arsenal staff are already assessing Calafiori after being subbed off with a possible knee injury. For me, I see this as a potential precaution. All the history that Calafiori has of knee injuries, I feel like a lot of fear might be in the player's mind itself, psychologically fearing the worst. The latest, according to Sami Mokbo, is Calafiori is a doubt for the Liverpool game, or medics will make a late call on Yuri Timber's fitness for the game due to a muscular injury. But what about Bukayo Saka? Well, he was in the crowd during the game, seen alongside his girlfriend. When asked after the game if he'll be ready for Liverpool, Mikel says he wasn't able to train yet, so it's unlikely. It's not what you want to hear when you've got a star player like Odegaard already missing. Bukayo Saka has been the player that stepped up in the absence, providing the best creative numbers in all of Europe. he still leads the entire league when it comes to big chances created. With all the concerns that Arsenal fans have right now about the lack of creativity, it goes towards Mikel Arteta's conservative style of play, creating one of the hardest teams to beat in the league, but not a team that's always able to get the win. We often talk about the fine margins and how important that is for Mikel, keeping games tight and giving Arsenal the most control possible. To have that style of play, you need to have star players who can provide you a moment. We saw that with Saka in the games against Southampton and Leicester. But then you have this major update from a very reliable source in Sam C, who understands Bukayo Saka is expected to be available for the upcoming match against Liverpool, having trained pending any last-minute changes or niggles. Meanwhile, Calafiori is set to undergo a crucial scan scheduled for today. Is Mikel Arteta playing mind games and trying to keep Saka's fitness secretive? If available in one of our biggest games of the season, it could change the entire course of it. One player that won't be available against Liverpool though is William Saliba. After a controversial red card against Bournemouth, Mikel Arteta was asked in his press conference if the club will appeal the red card. He says, "I will leave that more to the club to understand the circumstances and as well other examples that are very clear in the same position." We know exactly what Mikel is referring to, and it's the challenge in the Chelsea vs Liverpool game. Tosin Adarabioyo in a very similar position to William Saliba, taking out Diogo Jota but only seeing a yellow card, VAR choosing not to intervene. After the game, Liverpool watch Arne Slot said, "There was a decision of the red card which I saw yesterday, Saliba vs Bournemouth. That was a red card in a similar position," pointing towards the potential inconsistencies. A lot of Arsenal fans have thought, could Arsenal use it as leverage when making an appeal, show it to the Premier League that if that wasn't a red card, why was Saliba instead? With even former Premier League striker Dean Ashton saying he disagreed with the red card, saying to make that decision, "I think the referee has never been in that position." But according to Sky Sports Premier League, Arsenal will not appeal Saliba's red card. It comes to me as a surprise, but maybe Arsenal don't believe they can get it overturned, having received 17 red cards since December 2019, averaging 0.94 points per game with 10 men. It's far more than the likes of both Liverpool and Man City. 17 red cards poses the question, are Arsenal a dirty side? How many of those red cards have been violent conduct? Potentially only 4 or 5. And how many of those have been unprecedented? You think about the Trossard and Declan Rice red cards. Players getting sent off for kicking the ball away. How many other teams are getting punished for that? Even going all the way back to that Gabriel Martinelli red card against Wolves. Sent off for a throw-in and then a foul. How many times are Arsenal getting punished for things that other teams don't? I'm not saying there's an agenda, but there definitely seems to be something fishy. You then look at the Man City goal against Wolves, the last minute winner from John Stones, with all the controversy around Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva backs into Jose Sá, which takes him out of a comfortable set position. That ain't the opinion of a fan, that's a former professional footballer that's played inside the Premier League. A lot of Arsenal fans will point towards Ben White doing similar, but whenever we do it, the theme seems to be all about the dark arts. People questioning if Arsenal are cheating, and questioning our integrity. But when it comes to Man City, according to Sky Sports, they claim that it was clever from Bernardo Silva. Similar things to what Arsenal have been doing, for them it's clever, for us it's dark arts. It poses a wider question of how Man City are being refereed, posed by Wolves manager Gary Neville himself, saying, is there something in the subconscious around decision making, or even without knowing it? Are you more likely to give it to Man City than Wolves? From the media towards the referee, sometimes there is a bit of a bias. Maybe it's because they have the titles and Arsenal don't. But I want you guys to get down below in the comments and let me know if you agree with Gary O'Neill. Is there a subconscious bias towards Man City? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow a boy on all of the social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was all that we learned from Arsenal 1 Shakhtar 0, with a bit of a boring performance and a lot of Arsenal news. But going forwards, the game against Liverpool is around the corner and I think things are going to get interesting. So as per, stay tuned on the content. I'll see you next time in a bit.